Welcome, curious minds and fellow adventurers, to the Deep Dive. Today we're stepping onto, well, it feels like hallowed ground, doesn't it? A battlefield etched right into the foundations of epic fantasy. We are plunging headfirst into the Battle of Helm's Deep. Monumental, unforgettable, just a cornerstone of Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. And this isn't just, a clash of armies. It's way more than that. It's a defining moment, a bastion against this overwhelming darkness. And its echoes, you hear them everywhere. In films, books, games. It really shaped what we think an epic last stand should even look like. Okay, let's unpack this. Our goal today, our mission, is to really give you a well-informed, deep understanding of this iconic conflict. We want to explore the tactical genius, the raw narrative power that just grips you, and the themes, those deep, enduring themes that make it stick with us generations later. We're using a fantastic source as our guide. Helm's Deep, a bastion against darkness. It really helps focus on why the sequence is so powerful. So just for a second, let's transport ourselves. Imagine you're there in Middle-earth. The wind's biting, the air is thick. You're bracing for one of its most desperate hours. Standing right there with people who know this might be it.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how Helm's Deep really goes beyond just its strategic importance in the war against Saruman. Our source really hammers this home. In Tolkien's wider mythology, it's pivotal, a real linchpin moment. It's where that ancient, enduring world, Rohan's courage, its connection to the land, it directly confronts this terrifying, new, destructive force. Saruman's industrialized evil. It really feels like a clash of worldviews, not just swords and shields. And it's where despair starts, just maybe, to give way to a little glimmer of hope. So this source material lets us see past the spectacle and appreciate the deeper resonance of what's happening inside those walls.
Okay, so let's set that stage, because the battle doesn't just happen out of nowhere. It comes from a really crucial, almost desperate decision by King Théoden. Gandalf has just left right to find help, which must have made them feel even more alone.
Definitely more vulnerable.
Exactly. And Théoden, with Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, he makes this incredibly tough call. Lead the Rohirrim, his people, to Helm's Deep. To the Hornburg fortress. And their goal, it wasn't about winning a big victory. It was way more basic than that. It was survival.
Pure survival.
Just trying to withstand Saruman's massive Uruk-hai army. A gamble, really. Holding out, hoping maybe somehow help would come. You can just feel the weight of that decision, knowing so many wouldn't see the dawn.
And the Hornburg itself, you mentioned it. It's almost like another character in this whole drama. Our source calls it a marvel of ancient engineering. You can see why. It's not just a castle, it's this complex defense system. You get these huge stone walls rising out of a deep gorge that's a natural barrier right there. But then even before that, there's Helm's Dyke, this long trench and rampart forcing attackers across open ground, totally exposed to archers.
Right, a kill zone, basically.
Precisely. Then you get to the deeping wall itself, about, 150 yards long, 20 feet high, made of this massive, seamless stone, almost impossible to break with old-style siege engines.
Those interlocking blocks Tolkien describes.
Exactly. But there's that one flaw, that small detail, the culvert running underneath.
Ah, yes, the culvert. Crucial later.
Absolutely crucial. It's what Saruman's forces exploit. Shows how even ancient mastery can be undone by, this newer destructive thinking. And Tolkien's description of the geography it's masterful. The cliffs, the causeways, even those glittering caves underneath.
Daglarond.
Yes. They aren't just scenery. They're part of the defense. Almost like the land itself is fighting back. This detail, it gives it tactical reality. You can picture the fighting, but it also creates this incredible sense of mythic permanence. Like the fortress wasn't just built, it was meant to be there. Waiting for this specific night, this exact battle. It feels almost fated.
You can almost feel the history soaked into the stones.
Can you? Can you feel that weight, that history as the rain starts coming down?
Oh, absolutely. You can almost hear the echoes. But does that history, that weight, does it crush the defenders or does it inspire them? Especially since so many aren't trained soldiers.
That's a great point. It probably does both.
Which brings us to that tension, right? The tension before the storm. The source says the first pages crackle with unease, and they really do. You picture the scene. That relentless rain hammering down, blurring everything, torches flickering like mad in the wind, making shadows jump.
Turning everything into potential monsters.
Yeah. But it's the human element that gets me. The men of Rohan. Many are farmers and herdsmen more than professional soldiers. Just ordinary guys.
Facing something unimaginable.
Right. They're steeling themselves. Not hardened veterans, but people defending their homes. That just raises the stakes so much. You feel their fear, their quiet resolve.
It makes their courage so much more real.
Totally. And then you have Aragorn. In the middle of all this dread, he's striding the wall, giving encouragement. It's described as a quiet echo of kingship to come. He's not shouting, just being there, offering calm words, steadying them.
A stabilizing presence.
How much impact do you think that has? This future king walking among these terrified men.
Immense, I'd say. It's that quiet strength, that reassurance when everything else feels like it's falling apart. He's a focal point for their hope, maybe even without them fully realizing who he is yet.
A beacon. And Tolkien just stretches that suspense, uses the weather and silence masterfully, holds you in that awful waiting period, every raindrop, every gust of wind. It feels like forever. The quiet is almost worse than noise would be.
Building bit
until, bam, the first war horns of the Uruk-hai split the night like a physical blow.
And the silence is shattered.
And the battle begins. And when they come, wow. It's not a trickle. It's this overwhelming, terrifying flood designed to break spirits right from the start. The source describes them in terrifying numbers, like a black mass of industry and hatred.
It's a chilling description. Not just soldiers, but something unnatural.
Corrupted.
Exactly. This relentless tide of muscle and malice moving with this awful efficiency. And Tolkien, he balances that huge scale, the siege ladder scraping the walls, arrows blotting out the sky, that cinematic spectacle.
With the close-up fear. Right. The intimacy of the defender's fear. He zooms right in. The bowmen searching the dark. The shock of a breach in the wall. Those desperate small counterattacks.
It's that blend again, the epic and the personal.
It really puts you there. Can you just imagine facing that wave after wave, knowing there's nowhere to run?
This raises an important question then. How does Saruman actually plan this? What are the key phases, the innovations he uses? Our source breaks it down quite well. First, you get the causeway charge. Picture it. Waves of Uruk-hai surge forward under a hail of arrows. They aren't just a mob. They're disciplined. You have berserkers leading crazed fighters.
Fueled by Saruman's magic, maybe?
Possibly. Followed by ranks of pikemen, swordsmen, a relentless, almost suicidal push.
Just throwing bodies at the wall.
Exactly. And about overwhelming force. Showing the defenders he has endless numbers to wear them down physically, mentally.
Have them in sheer numbers and terror.
Right. And you see the defenders, Legolas firing arrow after arrow, Gimli swinging his axe. But it feels futile against that tide. The pressure is immense, constant.
Pushing them right to the edge from the start.
But then comes the culvert breach. And this is the real shocker. A shocking twist, as the source calls it.
The blasting fire.
Yes, they don't just use force. They use this explosive device to blow a hole right in that supposedly unbreakable deeping wall. And Tolkien, as our source notes, leaves it a bit mysterious. Is it magic? Gunpowder? Some kind of dreadful alchemy from Isengard?
Doesn't really matter what it is, it's what it represents, right?
Precisely. It's terrifyingly modern. A stark contrast to Rohan's world. It's Saruman's corruption made manifest industry, destructive tech, turning the earth against itself.
An act of perversion.
And a grim hint of what Sauron's full war machine looks like. This technological edge, it just changes the game. It's not heroic combat anymore, it's industrialized killing. Shocking for the defenders.
So the wall is breached?
And the outer defenses fall. They're forced back. This leads to the fighting in the Hornburg itself, retreating to the inner keep, a last redoubt.
That must have been devastating psychologically, being pushed back, step by agonizing step.
Immense. The battle becomes claustrophobic. A desperate struggle just to exist inside the fortress. Hope draining with every lost yard.
And the Uruk-hai just pouring in.
Relentlessly. And throughout this, Tolkien's pacing is just incredible. He keeps it relentless. Switching perspectives, sweeping views, then boom, you're in close quarters combat.
Which highlights the individual heroism. Aragorn and Gimli, their feats of endurance.
Absolutely. They are everywhere. Inspiring, fighting. Their partnership is amazing too.
The elf and dwarf, fighting side by side.
You see Gimli, fearless with his axe, keeping count of his kills even as things fall apart. Almost grimly humorous.
Needs must, I suppose.
And Aragorn, leading from the front, calm, resolute, rallying the men. Peerless skill, but also that unwavering spirit.
They just keep going, long after anyone else would have broken.
Showing different kinds of courage. Boisterous, steadfast. So back to that idea of being pushed to the final wall. What does it take? What keeps them fighting when it looks utterly hopeless?
That really is the core question, isn't it? It moves us beyond just the action. And thinking about the Hornburg itself, its ancient nature, What kind of hope does that represent? Is it just passive endurance or something more active? So what does this all mean? What's underneath the surface? Helm's Deep isn't just a fight scene, it's a crucible for themes. And maybe the biggest one is hope against overwhelming odds. Our source points out, the defenders expect annihilation, yet they stand. That's not courage, because you know you'll win.
It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It's courage without guarantee of victory, which feels very central to Tolkien's whole way of thinking.
Definitely a core tenet.
Think about those farmers and herdsmen again. They show that real courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about choosing to act even when you are terrified. They hold that line against monsters. It's not like a hero who's destined to succeed. Helm's Deep strips away that certainty.
Leaving just the moral choice.
Yeah, defend what's right, regardless of the outcome. So is true courage about certainty? Or is it about standing firm when the odds are impossible? It's a huge question.
And what's fascinating here is how Tolkien uses the battle to draw these really stark contrasts, reflecting his worldview, like industrial destruction versus natural world. Saruman's army isn't just evil, it embodies a specific kind of corruption. They use fire and explosives as symbols of mechanized war, our source calls them. Weapons born from pits, furnaces, unnatural invention.
Turning trees into fuel, twisting living things.
Exactly. It's a new, horrifying kind of war, threatening the ancient harmony of Middle-earth. Saruman, the wise wizard, becomes this perverter of nature, embracing a modernity that destroys.
And Helm's Deep itself?
It stands for the opposite. Ancient stone, natural defenses, those deep caves. It symbolizes that enduring natural world. Resilient, yes, but also vulnerable to this new industrial attack.
So it's not just land they're fighting for.
No, it's values. The natural versus the industrial. Ancient versus modern. Life versus destruction.
Right.
It feels deeply personal for Tolkien, that commentary on technology and nature.
And then there's the leadership aspect, fellowship and leadership. It shines through the darkness.
And in different forms, which is important. You have Aragorn with his calm authority, the destined king leading even before he wears the crown. He's strategic, confident, responsible, fights alongside everyone, never above them. He's the anchor.
Steadying influence.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But then you have Théoden. His renewal after Edoras is such a powerful arc.
From broken king to
the elder warrior reclaiming glory. His leadership is fiery defiance, rallying his people through sheer will, rediscovering his own courage.
those desperate charges he leads.
They seem suicidal, but they're glorious. He inspires through his own transformation. So you have these two figures, Aragorn and Théoden, different styles, both absolutely vital.
Calm strategy and fiery spirit.
Exactly. Showing leadership isn't one size fits all. It's complex. It's about connecting. So thinking about that moment of despair, what kind of leadership resonates most with you? The calm strategist or the defiant warrior?
That's a tough one. I think you need both, right? They complement each other perfectly there. And they really needed it. Because as the night dragged on, the Hornburg was, as the source says, teetering on the edge of ruin.
Absolutely hanging by a thread.
The defenders were just done, exhausted, hope drained, facing what looked like the final overwhelming push.
Walls breached, keep besieged.
Uruk-hai pouring in. It's the climax, the point where it's either a miracle or oblivion.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Tolkien delivers that miracle. A moment of pure dawn and deliverance. Just when it seems completely hopeless, the last defense about to fall, boom. The narrative shifts dramatically.
Dawn breaks.
Like hope itself cutting through the dark.
A powerful metaphor, lighting up those weary faces, and then the horns.
Not the Uruk-hai horns.
No. Clear, resonant horns of Rohan from the hills. Must have sounded like,
Wow.
well, salvation.
Gandalf.
Gandalf returns. Like a miracle on the horizon. But he's not alone.
Erkenbrand. And the Westfold Riders. A fresh host. Imagine seeing that. Cavalry appearing on the dike, sun rising behind them. A force of pure, untamed power.
Charging down the slope.
A breathtaking counterstroke. Catches the Uruk-hai completely off guard. They're trapped between the fortress and this new attack.
Panic. Retreat.
Exactly. Their relentless push turns into a rout. Instantly turns night's despair into morning triumph. That built-up tension just releases, masterfully done.
The light, the thunder of hooves, the Uruk-hai breaking. It's pure catharsis.
Visually, emotionally, stunning. And think about the timing. It arrives just as all hope seems gone. The 11th hour, literally.
What does that tell us about Tolkien's world, his themes?
It speaks volumes, doesn't it? About good prevailing, even against impossible odds, often through unexpected help, a turn of fortune. Suggests that even in the deepest dark, deliverance is possible, Light can break through, but maybe it requires that unwavering courage first, holding the line until help comes.
Is it just luck or something more?
Our source touches on that. Is it coincidence? A plot device? Or is it hinting at a deeper, maybe providential order in Middle-earth? A reward for faith and steadfastness? It's something to ponder.
That timing, the dawn charge, it just gives you chills every single time. And it highlights Tolkien's genius in crafting this whole thing. It's wild to think he wrote this long before modern fantasy battle tropes were common, because reading it, visualizing it, Helm's Deep feels incredibly, startlingly cinematic.
Absolutely vivid, dynamic.
So expertly paced. It really did set the stage, created the template for so much that came after. It's like the blueprint for epic fantasy battles.
You see its DNA everywhere.
Totally. Think about how many stories, books, movies, games use that structure. Peter Jackson's film, obviously, but countless others. That ebb and flow combat, the heroic last stand, the reinforcements arriving at dawn, it's become almost expected now, hasn't it?
It's a foundational archetype.
Its influence is just undeniable.
And what's truly fascinating here, as our source points out, is how Tolkien does it. He proves Tolkien's talent for blending mythic grandeur with grounded realism. That mix is key.
The mythic and the real.
Exactly. On one hand, you have the mythic stuff, the ancient, almost living fortress, the epic good versus evil clash, light versus dark symbolism, the destined king. It feels like legend.
Larger than life.
But he doesn't let it float away into pure myth. He grounds it with incredible sensory details. The smell of wet stone, cold and damp, the ache of fatigue in their bones threatening to break them, the sound of horns bouncing off cliffs, that whole soundscape.
It makes you feel it.
Precisely. He doesn't just tell you they're tired. You feel the weariness. You smell the rain and the fear. These details connect us on a human level. You experience the struggle with them.
So you get both legend and lived experience.
Yes. You sense the mythic scale, the fight for Middle-earth's soul.
Yeah.
But you also feel the cold, the pain, the sheer grit. That duality is why it's so powerful, why it lasts. So when you read it or watch it, do you feel like you're seeing history unfold or witnessing a timeless myth? Or maybe both at once?
It's definitely both, isn't it? That blend is just seamless, unforgettable. So as we wrap up our deep dive, what does this all mean for us, for you listening? What's the core takeaway? I think it's this. Helm's Deep is not just a battle, it's a meditation on perseverance. It's about enduring, holding that line.
That feels right.
And the men of Rohan, many untrained for war, facing that horror, they truly embody the idea that courage is action taken despite fear. It's not about not being scared. It's about choosing to act anyway, standing firm when everything tells you to run.
Which reinforces that lesson about heroism. Think about Théoden's roar of defiance, finding his strength right at the end, inspiring everyone through his own change.
And Aragorn's steadfast leadership, always there, calm, tactical, a beacon.
Both show that heroism often means holding the line until help divine or mortal arrives. It's about doing your duty, standing firm, even when victory seems impossible. Trusting that maybe, just maybe, the tide will turn, or that your stand makes the difference. It's about that unwavering resolve.
Holding the line.
Which raises an important question, a final thought for you, our listener, to take away and chew on. In your own life, what are your Hornburgs? What are those overwhelming challenges, those times the odds feel stacked against you, where backing down isn't really an option? And what does it mean for you to hold the line when you face those odds, especially when that dawn, that deliverance isn't guaranteed? Where do you find that courage without certainty just because it's the right thing to do?
That's a really powerful thought to end on. Makes this ancient story feel incredibly relevant right now. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into one of fantasy's greatest moments. We hope thinking about the courage, the leadership, the sheer perseverance maybe helps you see your own challenges in a new light. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep holding that line. Me